Yesterday we heard that the indweller in all, the Antaryami or Ishvara or the Self, all that is different from this is perishable. So, the Antaryami or the Ishvara or your own self, the consciousness which is within you is imperishable, indestructible, the rest is perishable. That we heard. The rest, in the sense, our body, mind and sense organs are perishable. Now, description of that all-pervading consciousness without any attributes. Consciousness is all-pervading, no attributes for that. That has to be described. That is why the Gargi asks questions, and before asking the questions, she says, if Yajnavalkya answers my question, none from among you ever win over him in explaining that omniscience, all-pervading consciousness, or Brahman, whatever you may put. Why? Gargi says, the questions I am going to put are very difficult to answer. So the first question she asks, by what is that sutra pervaded? That is, the combination of all subtle bodies we call sutra. Everybody is having a subtle body in the gross body, and the gross body perishes before our eyes, but this subtle body will be taking again and again births. As long as desires are there in his mind, in the individual's mind. So that is called an individual subtle body. In the same way, in the universe, so many individuals are there. So the combination of all the subtle bodies is called Sutratman. So she is asking about that. We know that a combination of subtle bodies is there. Just we see a particular tree and we tell it is a single tree. But if you go to forest, it is also a name. But in that, many trees are there, many types of trees are there. So the name of all the trees combined, what you call, it is a forest. In the same way, the individual is having a subtle body, and there is the combination of subtle bodies which is called Sutratman in scriptures. Or simply you can say the combination of all subtle bodies. Then now she is asking, by what is that combination of subtle body is pervaded? See, man never thinks that there is a combination of gross bodies which you call Virat, And there is the combination of subtle bodies, which you call Sutratman, and there is a combination of all the causal bodies that we call Antaryami, the indweller in all. So, now, by what this combination of subtle bodies is pervaded, or who is the indweller in that? Who is controlling it? Who is ruling that combined subtle bodies form? That is the question. He says, the answer is, he says, ether, space. And again, now simply you should not take the ether as it is as an element. There is a presiding deity for that ether, whom you call the indweller in all. So, now again she asks, by what ether pervaded? Ether itself is difficult to imagine, and to think that a presiding deity is there for the ether, that is still more difficult. Now she is asking, by what ether pervaded? This is very difficult here, because if he Yajnavalkya, if he is not answering this question because of want of understanding, he will be losing the game. If he answers, it goes against the scriptures, contradicting the scripture statements. See, if he answers, he loses. If he is not answering, then also he will be losing the game. Now, how to win the game? Very difficult. That's why in the beginning itself, she says, if Yajnavalkya answers these two questions, there is nobody, none of you can win over him. That's why none from among you ever win over him in explaining that omniscient, all-pervading consciousness. So, now Yajnavalkya is giving the answer. He says, it is that one which is indestructible. It can never perish. And I am not declaring about that. I am not giving the answer to your question, because if I give the answer, it goes against the scriptures. If I don't answer, you say, you have not understood my question. That's why you are not answering. Then also you will fail. That's why he has taken the support of the realized persons. Those who have realized that all-pervading consciousness, the omniscient one, they are called knowers of Brahman. Declare this indestructible consciousness as so and so. So, all the properties of a substance are denied. Each substance is having some properties. All, it is not big, it is not small, it is not long, it is not short. By telling this, Yajnavalkya is denying the properties of the substance. So, the all-pervading consciousness, which is within you, is not a substance. That is why it is not having a name or form. that which you can tell by the mind is only having the name and form. But it is controlling your mind. So mind cannot tell what it is. And the mind always describes a particular subject or a notion or a substance which it experiences. But as I told you previously, the mind is an inert thing. Never think that mind is conscious. It is deriving the consciousness from the self which is within you. Both are in the same place. The consciousness which is within you and the mind both are in the same place. Now space is there. In this space, air is there. In this space you are sitting. You take a pot. In that also space is there. In that you pour water. In that you add some sugar, some coffee, milk. Drink nicely, hot. So, where you are putting all these things? In the space of the pot. In the same way, now the properties of a substance are derived. That means space is also a substance. See, because I told you two properties of the space. It is giving a place to you to sit. That is called space. Where you are sitting? In this space. And it carries the sound vibrations which you are hearing now. These two qualities belong to the space. So, this consciousness which is within you is not like a substance, or we can say it is beyond space. That is why the question is, by what this ether is pervaded? That means something is there beyond this ether, which we call the omniscient, all-pervading consciousness. It is everywhere, it is in everything, it is within you, it is everywhere, and you are no other than that. You are not different from that consciousness. You in the sense, not this body and mind. Mind it. So, because of that consciousness which is within you, you are able to move. Your mind is able to work, though the mind is an inert thing. Now, by telling so many things, he has denied the properties of a substance. And now, devoid of all attributes, one without a second, a substance may be there. It may not have any form, but it can have some properties, like the air or breeze. You cannot see it. It is not having a form, but it is having a property, some adjectives. So, he says, he has denied all the properties which you can tell with your mind. So, this particular consciousness, which is described, is not a substance, and it is not having any properties. To tell it is beyond name and form. It is beyond name and form. Then you may say, a thing like that is not existing. But the scriptures say, and in day-to-day life you experience. You see the light in the dreams, where from it has come. How you are able to see the dreams when outside light is not there? And again, if you go little further, in dreamless state of the sleep, mind is not working, senses are not working, body is not working. Yet you experience, I slept well, I don't know anything. Who is the experiencer there? That is that consciousness. So you cannot deny it is not there. Because ahar ahar brahma gamayati. Every day you are experiencing that. You may not discriminate, you have not experienced, but it is there. It is controlling your mind. You are not controlling your mind. See, you think, I am the doer, I am the thinker, I am the enjoyer. He is giving the mind all these qualities. Why? Because depending on the past actions, he is giving the fruits. You enjoy the fruits and say, I am seeing, I am thinking. For this, I will give a small example. Big factories are there. Factory, you understand? Industries. So, in that, many people they work. Some, they are managers, directors, and some supervisors, and some are laborers. The laborers are unlettered. They don't do anything. Whatever you say, they do. Keep these rocks there. Pour this in that, pour that. That's this much is duty. But he also get wages. He don't know how much he will be getting, because whole month he has worked and few days he was absent and few days he has worked more, overtime. So who will be calculating? He don't know the calculation. Somebody should be there. The manager of that particular firm, he calculates and gives, you see, this is your monthly salary, in that this is added because of your overtime and this has been deducted because of your absence. He simply takes. All the individuals are like this. What they did, they don't know. They never remember. The beauty is they never remember. Very few only know about their past. The deep thinking yogis, nobody knows what he has done in the past. But this indweller, he knows everything of you, what you did, what you thought, all these things. Accordingly, he is giving you the fruits. But you think, I am the doer. This is called ignorance, or illusion, or maya. The whole storehouse of happiness is within you, that you forget, and you run after the objects of the world. That is why here the scripture is telling that the treasure house of the whole universe, not of a single kingdom, not of a single state of the whole universe, the happiness is within you. Try to experience it. That is the purpose of all the scriptures. So now we will proceed with our lesson. Page 742. It is with difficulty the existence of the indestructible has been penetrated into by the Sriti through the negation of many attributes. Yet, see, he told it is not a substance, no attributes, yet doubt is entertained, such being the way of the world. Why doubt comes? 742. He says, such being the way of the world. At each and every step they will be doubting whether it is there or not, whether he is a good man or not. They don't see themselves. They see others. And doubting each and everywhere, in each and every moment, in each and every step. How is that? How it can be? He thinks he is the most intelligent person on the face of earth and started doubting everything. That's why, yet doubt is entertained, such being the way of the world. We cannot. Samsayatma vinashyati. The moment you doubt a particular thing, you are perishing. So, never entertain any type of doubt in the scriptures, in the all the teachings of the great saints. The moment you raise a doubt, you are going down. That's why, hence, in support of its existence, inferential evidence is now being presented. This, it has been explained by the scriptures that why this fellow is not. This is also very delicate. Because I wanted to see the book also. The scriptures have explained that a thing is there within you. See, previously also I told, you are not going to ask your neighbor after getting up in the early morning whether I am existing or not. Are you going to ask? It is well known fact. It is a perceptible proof that I am existing. But still he thinks whether that consciousness is there within me or not, because he is imagining something else. I am the mind, I am the senses, I am the body. So a doubt raises. And he never understands that some inner controller is there within me. That is why we should discriminate. When you sit for meditation, you wanted to concentrate your mind on a particular thing. It is not standing there. Why? Suppose you are not believing a super consciousness thing that is within you. And then we can ask you, who are you? At best you say, I am the mind. Then mind belongs to whom? Me, no doubt. Then why it is not getting concentrated? No answer. Why it is jumping like a monkey? What is the answer? That means without your will and wish, without your desire, the mind is thrown out by something else. That is the indweller. That is the consciousness. So by these inferences, we can understand that something is there within us. But yet, people, the individuals, going on doubting. And when the scriptures say, the one consciousness is there in all the universes and that is within you and you are not different from that, immediately, how is it possible? Immediately puts question. I am a poor man working for my belly. How can I be the all-pervading consciousness? Why? He is attached to the body and mind. And he never discriminates. These are all automatic process. Sleeping, waking, working, eating, again sleeping. Why you are working? To fill up my belly. And why you are filling up your belly? Because I work. So, for a 9 inches fellow, it topples him down all through the life. Why you are working? I have to eat. That's why I work. And working from morning till evening to earn few dollars. In that way, he thinks these are all automatic things going on. Sleeping, eating, working, he is not having the time to discriminate and understand about his own self-consciousness. That is why knowledge is necessary for an individual. So, he says, hence, in support of its existence, inferential evidence is now being presented. So, one thing I told, you are not the controller of your mind, one inference. And a man can never create sun, moon, stars, etc. Can he? No power, no capability. That means somebody must be there who has created these things. And then, if you want to make a pot, potter should be there, clay should be there. That is the material cause and the instrumental cause. See? Two things are necessary. Potter is necessary and clay is necessary to make a pot. But here, to create the world, as you create in your dreams, as the magician creates so many things, that one particular consciousness has created this. This is second inference. In this way, a man should discriminate with the help of the mental intellect and knowledge. Otherwise, he cannot experience the highest happiness in this life. He has to go from birth to death, death to birth. That is why the inference is told here. एतस्य वाक्षरस्य प्रशासने गार्गी सूर्या चंद्रमसो विद्युतो तिष्ठते एतस्य वाक्षरस्य प्रशासने गार्गी द्यावा पृथिव्यो विद्युते तिष्ठते एतस्य वाक्षरस्य प्रशासने गार्गी निमेषा मुहूर्ता होरात्राणि अर्धमासा मासा ऋतवः संवत्सरा इति विधृतिः तिष्ठन्ति एतस्य वाक्षरस्य प्रशासने गार्गी प्राच्यो अन्यान् अध्यस्यन्दन्ते श्वेतेभ्यः पर्वतेभ्यः प्रतीच्यो अन्याम याम याम च दिशम अनु एतस्य वा अक्षरस्य प्रशासने गार्गे ददतो मनुष्याः प्रशंसन्ति यजमानं देवा दर्वी पितरो अन्वायत्ता. So this is the original Sanskrit. Now we are going to the translation. Under the rule of this indestructible, O Gargi, the sun and the moon ever stand supported. Sun and moon are in the space. They are hanging. Who is holding them? Somebody must be there. Otherwise it will fall down. It will break. They are moving in their own orbits. They never collide like a quarreling persons. So he says, this ever stand supported under the rule of this indestructible Akshara. O Gargi, heaven and earth ever stand supported under the rule of this indestructible. O Gargi, moments, instants, days, nights, fortnight, months, seasons, and years are ever stand supported under the rule of this indestructible. So, most of us, we know before creation what is there. You have not seen, I have not seen. We only infer. So, after the creation only this time has been divided. Before that there is no time. That is why he says he is the ruler of the time also. Some rivers flow in the eastward direction from the White Mountains, while some others flow in the westward direction and continues in their respective directions, and yet some others continue to be in their respective courses. You must have seen, see, from the White Mountains means Himalayas. Some rivers, they flow towards the east side, Ganges. Sindhu, or here he gives some other name that we will come across, that is flowing the west side. So even those rivers are controlled by the indweller. See, this a man who is reading science can never understand. But as you are having three bodies, gross, subtle and causal, like that, all these rivers and mountains, they are also having three bodies. So, the indweller is controlling them to go like that only. That is why most of the individuals, They think everything is only ordinary. Only what they see, that is only real, they think. What they don't see, about that they never think. Not having discrimination. That's why they have to face so many difficulties, whatever it may be. And yet some others continue to be in their respective courses under the rule of this indestructible. O Gargi, men extol those who give. The gods depend on sacrificer, and the mains on the oblations made with ladle. See, there are other words also where the gods depend on the sacrificer. Previously, two Brahmanas we heard that a supernatural being called Gandharva entered into the wife of Kapya. This we heard. Where from that supernatural being has come? He must be somewhere. Even now, I think, whether how far I heard, I don't know, whether it is correct or not. They go to other planets and they say some beings also are there. And even they wanted to build their boarding and lodging there. And they say science is so much advanced. They boast. And we, the Vedantis, say, science has developed and you have come back to the animal way of living. You are losing your own self. Eating, sleeping, fearing, progeny. You never think of other things. So, you are going back to the animals. You are having a mind, you are having intelligence, you can discriminate. He says, I am not having time. That day in the teachings of Swami Sivananda I told. They do so many duties and simply say, not having time for japam and religious books reading. So, here you see, the gods depend on the sacrificer. But the scriptures say these are all petty gods, demigods, not the all-pervading God. So, what are these petty gods? Rain, clouds, thundering, sun, moon, stars. So many petty gods are there. The breeze, vital force. For all these things, a presiding deity is there. But in the scriptures they say, Deva nakhadanti na pibanti. They never eat and drink. See? But again here he says, gods depend on the sacrificer. What the sacrificer will be doing? He will be going on pouring some ghee or some, say, lentils or some this thing. He will be going on pouring. And in the name of particular God. And scriptures say the God is not eating. That means they take the subtle form of your oblations. As I told you previously, if you put one red chilli in the fire, everybody starts coughing, sneezing. Stop. Only one chilli we have put in the fire, and everybody getting this pungent smell. What happened? The chili has turned into the subtle form that has entered into your nose. It is troubling you. In the same way, whatever operations they put, they get into subtle forms, and then that subtle things they take. You can understand this like this. In a more palpable way, we construct temples, we install a deity with all the sacrificial chantings, and that deity stays there. So when you offer something, and from that some rays will be coming and falling on the offered things. He just extracts the subtle form. That's why we call it is offered, it is sacred. In the same way, whatever you offer in the fire, it takes it to subtle form, and all the gods, demigods are satisfied. In the same way, the mains on the oblation made with ladle. See. And again he says another thing. Men extol those who give. Why? Because with so much of difficulty, you have earned something, say money or some objects, whatever it may be. So when you want to give it to others, you will feel. And if somebody asks, you give it to me, then it is still more difficult whether to give or not to give. Why? You think that with great difficulty I earned these things. So while giving away, you feel in the heart. That is why Swami Sivananda says, Sivanandaji Maharaj, remember your own self, the omniscience, all pervading, not different from the God, always, or remember death. Why? In the death you are going to give up everything here itself. Nothing you are taking. But when you are living, if you give away something to some others, you will be getting the fruits of that good act. That is why even the gods they praise, he says. Those who give. Now, earning is necessary. As the earning, this giving up also is necessary. Why? We heard the story of Shankaracharya, Lord Shankaracharya, the commentator, just at the age of 4 years old, or at best 5 years old, he came to the master, mastered all the subjects, all the scriptures. Then master says, go and bring alms. Then when he went to a particular house, there was a woman inside. She was not having complete clothes to cover her body, all torn pieces here and there. And he saw a young brahmachari standing before her, asking something. She searches in the house, nothing is found, nothing is there. Then at last, with great difficulty, in a pot, she has found a dried gooseberry. Dried gooseberry fruit. She just offered that to and started weeping. Torrents of tears are coming. Then her plight was seen by the brahmachari, the Lord Shankara. He could not withstand. Mercy, pity has come to his heart. Then, because he is capable, he has called goddess of wealth Lakshmi. Then Lakshmi just laughs at him. You have called, I have come, it is all right, but I cannot give her anything. Then Shankara asks, why? In her last 4-5 births, she has not given anything to anybody. That's why she is suffering so much of poverty. What shall I give? Then Shankara is very intelligent. He is very good logician. So he argues with goddess Lakshmi. Just now she gave a dried gooseberry to me. So this is giving up. You return the fruits of this much. And I am a realized soul. And she gave to me. So return the results of this gooseberry. That is sufficient. Then by his argument, goddess Lakshmi was very much pleased and showered golden gooseberries in her garden. See? That is why we should always give to somebody. In India, it is the custom, they try to feed others. Poor people, monks, brahmacharis, householders, Brahmins. And so, giving up is good, but most of the people, most of the individuals, they never believe in the past life or a future life. So why should I give? The question comes. Because scriptures say, you believe, why should I believe? Again the question. For this I am giving the answer. See, previously also I might have told you, very good if you remember, lot of thanks. If you don't remember, we are here to remind you. There is a particular man, he was suffering from heart pain. And he went to all the big specialist doctors surrounding. Nobody could diagnose why he is feeling that pain. No defect in the heart to feel the pain. Now who is going to answer him? So he went to one of his old friends. He is a very good astrologer, like our Krishna Darshan. Krishna Darshan is a good astrologer. So he asked him, you see, doctors could not diagnose why this pain is coming. Can you tell me? Yes, I can tell you. Then he started reading his previous lives. So he has read up to his 5th past life. In that life, he was a soldier. Soldier, understand? Soldier, working in the army. He did a mistake. So the king gave him a punishment. What is the punishment? This soldier should come by a horse with the highest speed. And from the opposite direction, another will be coming, and he pierces sparrow in this body's heart. That happened. At that time, you felt so much of pain because of your meditations. The impressions in your unconscious mind, at times they come up. So whenever this particular impression is coming up, you are feeling the pain. You are the same experiencer. The same subtle body is coming from birth to death. See? That is why one has to believe in the past lives. That's why all the great masters of the world, they say, what you sow, that you reap. Don't think that everything has come for us in this very life. That is why the scriptures say, give, give, give. Since 2-3 days, we are hearing the thunders. Gad, 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 gad. See? Thunder. Scriptures say that is the teaching of Brahman. How they connect? Actually, what happened? The demons, the human beings, the demigods, they all went to Brahman. And they requested the Almighty, give some instruction. Then he gave one letter to all. That is the first he called the demons. Have you understood my teaching? The demons say yes. What is that? Dayadvam. Be always merciful, because you are cruel by very nature. Go. Then demigods have come. Then have you understood? Yes. Damyata. You are always sitting in the heaven, enjoying the sense organs. You never think of the Almighty. You never think of your own self, how to get realization, the highest happiness. Damyata, control your senses, mind, go. Now this fellow comes, the individual, human being. Then again he asks, have you understood? Yes. Datta. Always give up. Always give up. By that only your sins are washed off, mind gets cleared, you can get concentration, you can meditate on your own self and can experience that. That is the teaching. So, what the thunder says, da 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 da. Da 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 da. That is the teaching. In that way, the scriptures combined. That's why here he says, Gargi dadato manushya prasamsanti. Even the gods, they praise, he says. Now, come to the commentary. Under the rule of this indestructible Brahman, known as the indweller in all, direct and perceptible, the self beyond all attributes such as hunger, thirst, and then happiness and sorrow, old age and death. O Gargi, the sun and the moon, which are the two lamps of the world, that shed light during day and night, ever stand supported by this indweller. Even as a kingdom exists without being split up and with law and order maintained under the rule of a king, so these sun and moon are controlled by it. And they are created to serve this purpose by a ruler who knows the purpose served by them for the sake of the world, and as they serve this purpose, normally giving the benefit of light to all creatures as a lamp in our common experience, thus they stand supported. Therefore, there exists that by which the sun and the moon are supported. Though the latter themselves are independent lords, existing with the rising and setting, expansion and contraction, and with definite location, time and causes, there thus exists their controller, the indestructible, like a lamp which has its maker and operator. Just now I told you, who has made the sun and moon? The indweller. So what you see, that is not real. What you experience, that is real. So experience that. Under the rule of this indestructible O Gargi, the sun and the moon ever stand supported, even though they are of the nature bursting, since they have parts of falling, since they are weighty, of separation, since they are compound and are independent, since they are presided over by a conscious deity which identifies itself with them. See, it is only a gathering of mud, water, etc. If somebody is not holding that, it falls off. What is holding? The vital force, the air, that is holding them. And vital force is controlled by this indweller. That is why and are independent, since they are presided over by a conscious deity which identifies itself with them. This indestructible indeed is the connecting bridge of all orderly arrangements, in whom is vested the power of operation of everything within the limit of each. Hence, the sun and the moon do not transgress the rule of the indestructible. It is only the human being, the ignorant fellow, always transgresses the rule of that indestructible. Sun is having its fixed time for sunrise and sunset, and this fellow, the individual, ignorant fellow, works only to get some chips, comes and sees the TV, all types of dances after 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, sleeps and gets up slowly at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. because he has to go to office. Yes?
The presiding deity, which presides over sun, moon, rain, identifies itself with whatever it is presiding over, does it identify itself in the same way that we identify ourselves with the body, thinking I am the sun, I am the moon, like this?
Yes, yes, yes.
In ignorance, not...
But they are not ignorant. They know, but they are attached. All the demigods, they are attached to the senses, staying in the heaven. I told you, everybody is having 3 bodies, as you are having. So the sun, the glowing fireball, what we see, is his gross body. And a presiding deity is there. And he is controlled by this indweller. We have already covered some 27 stanzas about the indweller. So, he is the inner controller. But now they know that some indweller is there. But the span of life is so much, from the creation of the cycle till the end of the cycle. And once they have created, they have to carry on their duties. Some of them know, some of them don't know. That is why you see, as I told you, what is the span of their life? The age of Kali is having 4,32,000. And all the yugas, it is coming to 43,20,000 years. One yuga. Multiplied by 100 into 2, you can imagine. That is the lifespan of Brahman. That is the lifespan of this one cycle. So through this, in this cycle, they have to work. No other go, though they have realized. That is why in Krishna 4th chapter, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Manu Rikshvakave Abravit Proktavan Aham Avyayam. In the beginning of the creation, I gave this to the Prajapati and he gave to the sun. The same yoga, the karma yoga, without hankering for foods, without attachment, the same now I am teaching to you. See? That is why now where we have left, somewhere, something I was explaining. In between the question has come. So where we left? What was the discussion? No, something I was telling you, see. ఏం చెప్తున్నాను? The individual gets up early in the morning. At what time? 9 a.m. He is not controlling himself. He is not following these rules of scriptures. He says, I am the supreme power on the face of earth. I can do whatever I like. Never hears anybody. But these demigods are not like that. He is standing behind them, the controller. That's why they never trespass any rule. Because some independence has been given to this particular individual, a man, he trespasses everything. And going on from life to death, death to life, feeling all sorts of difficulties, whatever it may be. So, this indestructible indeed is the connecting bridge of all orderly arrangements, in whom is vested the power of operation of everything, within the limit of each. Hence the sun and the moon do not transgress the rule of this indestructible. Therefore, its existence stands proved. Why all the planets are moving in their orbit? Because of his rule. That heaven and earth exists controlled by it is the unfailing sign of this. This is not possible unless there is a conscious ruler who is free from transmigration. Now you see that the indweller is free from transmigration. Some supreme power is there. as evidenced by the mantra, by whom is heaven made mighty and earth firm. Under the rule of this indestructible Ogargi, all parts of time, such as moments, the instants which account for everything past, present and future that is subject to birth, ever stand supported, just as an accounts keeper, in common parlance, appointed by his master, accounts for with utmost care all items of income and expenditure, so too is the controller of these parts of time occupying the place of their Lord. So also some rivers, such as Ganges, flow in the eastward direction from the White Mountains, the Himalayas and the like, and they, although capable of flowing in other directions. That's why previously I gave a short story of Ganges. Is it not? Now, how this has come to the earth? We already previously we heard this whole universe is like a shell of an egg. It is in down form. Andakapal. So, when the Lord in the Vamanavatara, he has raised his leg to the heaven, then that particular shell was broken. And Yajnavalkya gave the description, above the earth there is water, 3/4. 1/4 is earth and 3/4 water, it is covering the whole earth. So the outside water has come inside when the shell is broken. That was collected by the Brahman, the creator, in his pot Kamandalu. That is Ganges. That is why it says, and he has washed the feet of Lord Vishnu. That is why it says it is pure. Even all the scientists, they have experimented so much on Ganges water that it is pure. It may be because of its coming from heaven, or it may be carrying some of the herbs in that. So both herb, H-E-R-B, herbs. That is why even some bacteria enters into that, immediately kills. This you can see, you take the Ganges water, keep it in any pot, earthen pot or metal pot, for years together, it is as it is, never gets spoiled. Ordinary water you put, within 1 month, we will see all the mass and other things accumulating. That is why we call it is pure. And the directions for flow was given by the God. Though it is having its own individuality, that's why they never trespass the rules. In other directions, continue to be in the directions that are fixed. This also points to a ruler. That's why Bhaghiratha Ratha Katha Vachinna Pravaha Vegaha Ganga. What is Ganges? As directed by Lord Shiva, that Bhagirath was going in a chariot in a particular direction to release all his mains. That's why behind that Ganges flowed. That was directions given by Lord Shiva. So in that way, he says, in the direction that are fixed. This also points to the ruler. See? Some other rivers such as the Indus is Sindhu, that half goes to Pakistan, half comes to Jhelum, Chenab, some 5 branches are there. So some are in flow in the westward direction and continue to be in those directions, and yet some others continue to be in the course fixed for each and never deviate from their respective courses. This also is an evidence. When you go to Mount Kailas, you can see this Indus river starting. Only this much of deep. All the cows you see, there are yak. There, because it is so cold, only yak can survive. So just it goes from that side to this side to that side. And afterwards you see, it carries so much of water from the Himalayas and getting into the 5 branches and is helpful for the cultivation in Pakistan as well as in Jammu and Kashmir and other places. So the direction is decided, fixed already. That's what he says. Because it is only water. Water is having its own direction. It can flow downwards to any place. But particular direction has been fixed, he says. That's why we believe the indweller in all. As he is indwelling and ruling us, he is ruling everything. That's why again and again I told you, only one ruler in all the universes, who is ruling you and all others. Just have faith. That's all. Besides, even those who are learned extol men that give gold, in spite of their own strained circumstances, he says, you see. They give up gold. Now, why? Earning is difficult. And while giving, he feels pain in the heart. That's why. Now the union and the separation of that which is given, its giver and its recipient are all in this life itself. But how the donor is afterwards united? Now, you did a particular action. You forgot. And the result of that particular action you have not got in this life. So, you will be taking another birth and that result will be given to you. So, there must be somebody who knows your present and past and future and the actions you have done. That is the recorder within you. He is the indweller. See, you cannot tell no. That is why simply they say, what you sow, that you reap. Very simple. And the scientific people, they say, each action is having opposite and equal reaction. That they prove in the science also. So what you did, that we have to, that means some knower, the indweller should be there. Now the union and the separation of that which is given and its giver and its recipient are all in this life itself. But how the donor is afterwards united with the reward is not seen. Still men extol the act of giving, knowing through other evidences that those men who give are rewarded. Whatever you give, you are rewarded for that. And this would not be possible unless there is a ruler who unites the giver of charity with the reward and who knows all about actions and their results, for the act of giving comes to its termination before our own eyes. The actions are terminating now. Results are given afterwards. What you have done, you have forgotten in this very life, suppose you say. There was Matanga Rishi Gado? No, Mandavya. By name, one sage was there. He was called Mandavya. So in the childhood, what he did, he used to take the thorns and he put behind the insects. Play. That is for him. It was play. And towards the end of the life, because he was a sage and he was only meditating on the God, but he was punished. How? Some thieves have stolen some of the ornaments from the kingdom, and they were running, and they saw the soldiers are coming behind to catch them. So immediately what they did, they saw a sage simply sitting, closing his eyes. All the ornaments they left before him and went away. And behind the soldiers have come and thinking, you see, this fellow is making a drama, but all the things, now he is sitting and meditating. So they took him and they put a sparrow from behind his anus and he has to stand on that. That was the punishment given. Then if a sparrow is put inside the body, immediately man dies. But this being a meditative sage, because of the power of the God, he has not died. 7 days over. Then they want to pull the sparrow. It was not coming. So they have to cut off. Something is inside the body. That's why afterwards he is called Animandavya. All through the life that iron part was within the body, and immediately after cutting, he immediately went to Lord Yama and asked, why I got this punishment? Knowingly I have not done any mistake. Then he says, you see, in the childhood you have done, that's why you have to get this punishment. That's why even in this life, what you sow that you reap. You forget what you do. Simply, nicely, you forget things. But you cannot escape the results. You can throw the dust in the eyes of others to escape. You can never put the dust on the indweller's eyes. Always open, he knows everything, he gives the results. So be alert, do always good. That's why Sivanji says, be good and do good. Very simple. See how small the teaching is, how much meaning it is carrying behind. That's why whenever I go, you see, to the Ramakrishna Mutt, I simply take the teachings of the Master, teachings of Sri Ramakrishna according to Vedanta. So, 7 days only I could teach only 7 teachings, because I connect that teaching completely to the Vedanta, explaining so many things. They say, so far we have never heard the explanation of the teachings like this. Then I say, that's why God has sent me to you. In all the places also. And now, recently I had been to Sivananda Ashram in Vizag. So there is small book, the ways to get the peace of mind. How to get the peace of the mind, by Swami Sivananda. Hardly, I think, some 7 or 8 teachings. So 1 week, every day 1.5 hours. Each teaching explained. They feel very happy because they get support of the scriptures and thoroughly it has been explained. That's why you see, one thing we should do, we may have the scriptural background or not, does not matter. Just believe the teachings and have full faith on the teachings of the Master and follow, that's all. Blindly you should follow. No other go. Then you will be benefited, you will be rewarded. Therefore, there must be one who unites the givers and the results of what they had given. Now the opponent has come. The extraordinary result of action itself can do this. This opponent, you see, he is the believer of only the Purvamimamsa. Because the scriptures say, you do particular action, you will get the result. So he says, why should I believe in an indweller who gives the results? And he says, Apurva, extraordinary result of action. Result, he says. But for this we have answered already. Action is inert. Fruits of the action are inert. So, action itself cannot give you the result. There should be some indweller, the knower of the action and the result. He is the giver. That's why, no, for there is no proof to support its existence. What he says? The extraordinary result of action. Apurva, he says in Sanskrit. No such thing in scriptures. Then he says, even in the case of the ruler, there is no proof. Now you see, ruler is within you. You fellow, you cannot control your mind. You cannot do whatever you want. And still you say that in the case of ruler, there is no proof. What to tell? So much of ignorance with these people. Those who believe only actions. That's why he say, no, for it is established that the scriptures has this for its objective. See, that is, actions are depending on the individual. What you want, that you do. Actions. Scriptures told, if you want to do, you do. You don't want, you don't do. You don't want results. That is your scriptures. But here you see, the scriptures say objective. That is called Vastu Tantra. A thing is there, it is controlling. The scriptures say, and you experience. What for you are doing all these things? To get the highest happiness in heaven. You say the heaven is the realization. We say knowing one's own self is really that much difference. So, you cannot say, you cannot reject the objective. That is the indweller. You are seeing in the dreams, you are feeling in the sleep, and you see in waking state, because you are not able to control your mind and thoughts. All these things prove that. We have also spoken of this objective of the scriptures. Moreover, the inference resorted to in respect of the extraordinary result is ineffective. What you say, the extraordinary result not having any effect. In In daytime, you have seen a mango tree with full of fruits, but because there was a gardener, mango tree. So because as a gardener, you could not take the mangoes without his observation. So you went in the night. You are throwing the stones. Do you think the mangoes will fall? Your actions, you are telling something like this. Simply throwing the stones in which direction you are throwing, that also you cannot know. So there is no proof for the extraordinary result. Because action is inert. Results of the action are inert. There should be some combiner. Knower of these things, ineffective. For the result of action is possible otherwise, since the reward for service is seen obtained from the one who is served. If you serve a king, if you serve your master, he will be giving you results. So, as I told you, he is the one ruler indwelling in all. So, he gives the results. You are serving him. That's why previously I told, by serving others, you are serving your own self. Since service is an act and sacrifice, giving in charity, oblation and the rest are equally acts, it is proper that the result of these acts should proceed from those whose interests have been served by these acts. With the desire they do the acts and they get the results. These acts, namely God and the rest, even without ignoring the inherent power of the acts, if the attainment of the results of the acts is possible, it is illogical to ignore such visible inherent power of the acts. So it is, he says, it is not depending on the logic. What? Some inherent power is there. And this fellow who believes in action, he never having faith and believes the Ishvara. Most difficult thing he is facing. That's why he cannot explain. Just now I told the story of Animandavya, that the indweller is there. Dear boy, you don't know what you did in your boyhood. Now you are reaping the fruits. Indweller is telling. So how can you say this is not logical? That's why all the scriptures, all the religions in the world, they say only one thing: be good and do good. And at best, if you want to have the highest happiness, cleanse your mind. You may belong to any corner of the world. Until and unless you cleanse your mind, you will not get the highest happiness within you. You cannot experience. So that is the gist of today's lesson. I think time is over. 13, 12. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति।